the black woman that was raped by the master.
Hi guys, I'm Alicia and this is Alicia's Journal. Today we are back with another Black History project and we are sat down with the founders, Darren Watley and Aurea Reis. Welcome.
Thanks
Thank
for having us.
Don't be scared. So I want to basically introduce you guys individually and then we'll talk to you collectively. So let's start with you, Aurea. So Aurea, you're a TEDx speaker.
Yes.
You're the author of the amazing book, which I have read, Healing Letters, and you're now the curator of this amazing project, A Welcoming Table, Collaboration over Competition. So welcome. So many hats,
Thank
and there's
you.
so many more. Darren, you are a UK-based photographer. You specialize in weddings, events, and personal branding. And you basically started off at a friend's wedding, and we might get into that a little bit later. So you guys are very, very talented, and you've clearly made something amazing. So welcome to you both. So I want to start at the beginning.
Oh, God.
So Aurea, you basically describe this as a welcoming table, and it's a response to being overlooked, right? So talk to me about what specific experience you had where you felt you was overlooked and you felt like this particular project was needed.
So, since I became an author, there's two sides of this. So there's the pressure, the social media pressure, because since I became an author, I could start seeing every year during Black History Month, all the authors doing lots of things, speaking engagements, because I'm a motivational speaker as well. And so I would put my name forward to events and being overlooked because I didn't know some people, because I was just starting, because they thought I didn't have much to add. And even people that I knew, they would say, oh, we already have people to come to the events, and then you'll see people that will make comments about, oh, I went to that event, and they said they're busy, but then those people that made comments about those circumstances, that being invited to come because they already had some history behind them.
Right.
So I just got tired of it. I was just like, I heard a few things on social media or some post that says when there's no space on the table, you bring your own table, your own chair, something like that. And I said, no, I'm not begging.
Okay, I love that.
I'm not begging for anything. I don't beg among my friends. I don't beg among my family, my private romantic relationships. So I won't beg about things like that. I'll build my own things.
Love that.
So I just went through that.
Okay.
And,
So what about the vision? The vision started to be created. You had this moment where you was like, actually, I'm going to start something amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me how you decided to reach out to Darren. What made you do that?
Darren, I think he wanted to kill me at a certain point because this was supposed to be 5 people.
It started off as 5 people.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't know. It's, whatever religions you are in the world, I say that I'm a Christian, but in certain other times I say my religion. In terms of that, I'm like a citizen of the world in terms of religion. So I go to God's feelings when you talk about God's feelings. And I remember one time I was washing the dishes and I just thought, I was thinking about, oh, Black History Month is coming, and again I'm not going to be doing anything, blah blah blah. So I just had that thing, well, what about that feeling? What about invite some friends? I have a makeup artist, which is the makeup artist of the project, Marlene Lussati. I have some friends, they're doing some things as well out there, and they're not invited to many things, and they have the same complaints as me. Then I have my friends. Darren is a photographer. Like 5 people already, so that should do that work for something. But it was just to take nice pictures and fabrics. And then with Mr. Zeal, which I'm wearing his top today, I went to visit his shop on that same week, and I said that one day I would like to do a photo shoot in African fabrics.
Okay.
Because I'm from Angola, and I just wanted to do something different. And he said, like, anytime. And I said, for real? And he said, yeah, anytime, you know, it's marketing for you, marketing for me. So in my head, I just started like having all these thinkings. And then I just decided to put everything together. And me and Darren, we as friends, we had this thing that not every month, because it's quite busy. I'm quite busy, but every now and then they're like, "What are you doing? Oh, are you good? Yeah. Okay. Shall we link up? Just have a breakfast and talk about private life, professional life, or whatever." So it's like, "Do you want to go for a breakfast? I'm owning you a breakfast." He said, "Okay, but can you come to my house?" I know, like, it's more cozy. I can buy him better. I cook a nice breakfast for him. And then we had the conversation. And let me tell you something. When you go into these things, you need to actually already build a good foundation with people. The trust foundation. Integrity. Because integrity is not what you do in front of me, it's what you do behind my back. And one thing, I think you guys noticed that on the project, I have my friends back. And if you are wrong, I'm going to tell you in your face, but I'll defend you in public. I'll tell, okay, she was wrong, but this, and that. Maybe talk with the person. And so when I spoke with Darren didn't even let me finish, because he has his own ideas and gut feelings, and he said, actually, I want to do, correct me if I'm wrong, something for a while, so this comes quite along. Put the idea in the paper. He was in a rush, like he's always in a rush. He had something else to do, so put the idea in the paper, and we'll discuss better soon. But yeah, I like it, carry on. And then I spoke with other people, and many of the people that I reached out, they didn't even let me finish, because they worked with me before. I was invited to their platform. I was there on time. Even if something was wrong, they'll come and apologize, and I said, listen, at least you're doing it. You know, I was graceful when they did wrong. I was very grateful when they invited me. I was there on time. I was doing my thing. I'll stay. And some people will come and talk and go. I'll stay. You know, all these little things add up, these little things that I did for 3 years. So when I decided to do my own thing and invite a good friend that is quite busy, like taking him out of his work, this man is quite busy.
Yeah.
And he didn't sew twice, everyone else didn't sew twice. And then what happened, I'm not sure if I'm jumping other questions. Then what happened is, soon he said yes, he created the monster.
All right then, so let's just go there then, right? So Darren, you got asked to you got bought with food, we're hearing. So if you wanna buy Darren,
she cooks some
food,
by the way.
right?
And I had the Caribbean food in there and everything.
So what drew you to the project specifically? What was the thing that you said, okay, this is something I want to be involved with?
So I like the idea of working with 5 people,
right?
Because that's how it was initially sold to me, but that was fine. But it was really around, first of all, the idea, because it's centered around Black History Month, that actually turned me off from the idea, because I don't like the idea of having to have a Black History Month. The main reason for that is Black people have been part of the fabric of UK society for hundreds of years, and there shouldn't be a need to have a separate month to celebrate us. That should be everyday part of British history. So initially when she said Black History Month, it was like nah, I'm not interested in that. But then when she spoke about the clothing aspect, Mr. Zeal, so I like a bit of fashion. When it was the idea around working with 5 people, I thought, okay, I can combine a portrait session with some African clothing and make a whole day of it, and it'd be a nice small project to get into. And that was my initial yes, because it was something different from what I would normally do, doing weddings, events, and get to work with individuals.
Right. So I think a key part of this project is what really stands out to me is we've asked everyone this question, and I have to ask you guys now, what does reclaiming narratives mean to you? Because that was one of the key themes of this project. So if I start with you, Aurea, if I can get a few sentences of what you feel reclaiming narratives means to you personally.
For me, reclaiming narratives is just what Darren said, because this is going to be, this was historic, and it's going to be then now it's in print.
Yeah.
So reclaiming narratives for me is like, okay, we now here as in the 31 days. We here 365, and we talk about that all through the project. It's showing for me our fabric, because I remember one time I was talking with a girl in the office at my work, And I was talking about that I like African fabric, and she said, "Oh, I like it as well, but it's always like it's not very versatile, and you can't wear it everywhere." So one of the visions I had, and with the pictures as well, was that different attires where you can show that it's very versatile. You can wear in the office, you put a blazer on, and you put some other things, and you can go to events. And then with the hairs as well, we have the accessories, which is from the other sponsors, Anais Arts, to bring that we are everywhere. And then in terms of the people that we invited to the project, in the Black community, like, we have all sorts. You know, we have doctors, we have psychologists, we have people doing things in the community that they're not paid for it. And I'm really tired. I am really tired of seeing people on TV. They're doing great things, good. That's still necessary. But what about the people in the community doing the same things, taking money out of their pockets and not being recognized for that?
Right.
So it's recognizing the narratives, it's putting the spotlights on the people, on the community, that they're doing so much, just as any other famous people on TV.
Right.
But they're not speaking about it.
I hear that.
It's reclaiming the narratives of our young people. We had Nay, which was the youngest in the project, with 19, Luana 24, where they're young, but look at them.
Yeah,
what they're doing. If I had Nay's heads when I had 19, I'll probably be running like the House of Commons. Not that I like politics, but like it's amazing, and it's quite exhausting to see when people, our young generation, portrayed on the news is always in a negative light. And then you see those young people coming here, and they have so much dreams, and they're overwhelmed, but they're still doing it. You know, so there's lots of claiming narrative. The claiming narrative is not just about me as a person. Is about everyone else that is around me, that I'm a very observing person, so I've been observing. And for me, the reclaiming narrative in this project was like, okay, by me doing this, I want to give with someone else.
Love that. And how about you, Darren? What does reclaiming narratives mean to you personally?
For me, it was about the stories that I told about people that look like me, being a black male. And when I look at the media in general, there's a very narrow view of black men. So we can be DJs, we can be sports people, athletes, actors, but we were really portrayed as regular humans doing everyday things, you know. And for me, that's a very narrow view. And it's much broader. And one of the things about this project is that, you know, we have a wide range of people doing lots of different things, and who just happen to be black. Yeah, it could be any other ethnicity, you know. And for me, that was the most powerful thing. To get the stories about their everyday lives out there, and it was just amazing to hear the various things that different people did in their normal everyday life.
Were there any narratives that you heard, Darren, growing up, and did they change the way you saw yourself? Did they influence the way you saw yourself? Talk to me about that.
I think the main narrative that I can remember, and I would have had it younger than 12 years old, and it was from my grandmother. And she always used to say, if you want to make it in this country, you got to be twice as good as any white person you come across, because you won't be chosen first. And that narrative has stuck with me for many years. It's a false narrative, because, you know, it's based around racism, and racism is a very complicated subject. However, there's an aspect of truth to it which drives performance-led living, which is not the way to live. You know, because that means you're constantly on the go, trying to perform.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting, and that's no way to live your best life. But yeah, that's been a constant narrative, and listening to the other people on the podcast, they've also had that same narrative as well. So it's a really common theme within Black communities.
Okay. I want to talk about you guys in terms of the beginning of your story. We spoke about other people's stories, and I think it's important for people to understand where the founders' stories actually begin. So I want to ask you, Aurea, you started off in Angola, then you moved to Portugal, now you're in the UK. Can you share a bit about your journey and how some of the experiences that you've had have, grew you as a person, nurtured you as a person?
As you said, I born in Angola and I moved to Portugal in '92 when the Civil War started. And for me, it was very interesting because, as my friend Marlene, she's part of the project, she said, in Angola, maybe her experience was different from mine because me as a light person, in Angola I was considered like kind of white. And then I moved to Portugal and I was bullied because I was Black.
Okay.
I was Black. But even in Angola, when I was treated like, when I used to say, oh, I'm Black, and I said, no, you mulata, which is mixed race, mulata. But I don't like that term because in the slavery time, mulata, actually, it wasn't a good place to be because it's the Black woman that was raped by the master and raised, birthed a mixed race child. And that child, sometimes that person, if it was a man, he was the one, putting the others in the strong and beat him up.
Oh, right.
How do you say in English? I don't know the terms. And then the woman, mixed race, will be the one serving in the house because she looks prettier. Her features look better, the hair looks better. So I don't like that term. And actually in Brazil, it's not allowed anymore. But in Angola, some people still use it. But it's not a nice term and I never like it. And even as a child, I never liked it because for me, I didn't understood, but I could see the separation. But then I'm not going to say that when I moved to Portugal, as a child, I was bullied, but I need to recognize the colorism, the privilege. I had that.
Right.
I had when I started growing up and studying and doing my degrees and having to go to placements. I've seen with my own eyes, my colleague had better grades than me, which is actually now my son's godmother. But she's darker. And they gave it to me. And then when I was in the job, they actually said we chose you because you're prettier and you're lighter and your mannerisms are different.
Wow.
And I went home and I cried. And I remember my mom, bless her, saying we take what we have.
Right.
At least we got the job or the placement.
Okay.
But that stuck with me because I saw how much my friend was hurt. She cried so much. Everybody in the school was so offended.
Yeah.
They managed to put her in a better hotel, but that memory will stuck for me. It stuck with me. But now imagine how much, because every time we speak about these kind of things, we always talk about this.
Yeah.
So I had those experiences. But another thing as well, and I need to say thank you to you, because you had the idea of the pictures, look at our pictures as a child. And I remember saying I don't like to look at my pictures as a child for many reasons. But I noticed this week when my mom sent me the pictures that fashion was always in me.
Right. Shout out to our sponsors, Arts Council England, Fashion Afrique, and Anais Art. Without you, none of this would be possible. You truly have helped to keep our vision and our mission going. Also, if you're an individual or organisation that would like to collaborate with us and you believe in collaboration over competition, then email us at blackhistoryproject2025@gmail.com.
I saw actually one of the pictures I have of trousers, they look like ones that I bought recently, and my partner said, like, they look like balloons. I said, you don't know fashion, mate. Stay quiet. You know, and it looks exactly just different color.
Right.
And fashion was always in me, but of course in that age was my mom.
Yes.
And I remember looking at my mom and thinking, when I grow up, I want to be with her, like her, because my mom was always beautiful, always fashion with those blown jackets from blazers from the 80s, and we were just talking before we came on camera how much I love blazers. And it's just all coming to me that is all together.
Okay.
And then when I came to UK as a migrant, and I remember one time we were having a conversation in a cafe, and Darren, we were talking about the project, and he said, we need to show that we're not just the kids of migrants anymore. I was a migrant as well in this country, and I had studies. I started university in Portugal. I didn't finish, but I always had good jobs in Portugal, finance assistant, always work in office, hotels, speak like 2-3 different languages. And I came to to England. I had to start with cleaning. I had to start with factory. I was shouted in my face. I was treated like secondary citizen because my English was broken. It was me, Jane, Tarzan, but I made it to communicate. But that strength in me of like that we as black people always have to have working harder, working twice as hard. I didn't leave my family behind for this.
Right.
So I was working 12-hour shifts in Magna in the factory. I was going to English classes at night. I was learning Italian, Spanish just to perfect, because the what I knew was more for learning from the hotels when I used to work there. And then I put myself to university, and today I'm here.
Love it. That's like, that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you.
So speaking of the UK, so Darren, you know, you was raised in the UK, right? So talk to me about your journey as a black man or black boy being raised in the UK. What was that like for you, and did you have any challenges growing up?
I was thinking, because we've had so many different discussions about growing up and being black in the UK. I think it was around 13 years old when I had a realization. Well, I always knew I was black, but I think it was around 13 years old that I realized that I get treated differently because I am black, which is quite startling existence, because you grow up in a family that's all black. Most of my neighbours were probably 80% black. And so when I started to venture out a little bit more, going to secondary school, having a different mix of people in my life, teachers, there's an incident, as I'll call it, that sticks in my brain, and I'm sure I've mentioned this. Around the age of 13 or 14, I wanted to be a policeman. And I remember saying to my English teacher, and I won't mention her name because it's still that clear. I said, she said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a policeman. And she said, you can't be a policeman, you're black.
Wow, that's crazy.
And, you know, for a 13, 14-year-old to be told that, that was a real startling moment. And it was almost like a box had been opened of a huge different realization about life.
Right.
And some of the things that my grandmother and my mom had said to me, all of a sudden started to make sense and also ring true. And that's quite scary for a teenager.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I want to go deeper, but I'm conscious that, you know, I have to interview you both simultaneously. So, I mean, let's stick with you, Darren, because, you know, a lot of these images, well, all of these images have been created by you, right? Yeah. Captured by you. And so one of the things that I want to ask you is, you always are behind the lens, right? Capturing people's stories.
Yeah.
So how did it feel to be in front of the lens? How did you get in front of the lens? And what was that like? Because this is different for you now. You're not telling people's stories, but your story is also being told. So it's like you have a dual role within this project. So what was that like?
I'll start with one word: uncomfortable.
Okay.
So I don't like being in front of the camera. I'll tell you a quick story. I was out one night taking pictures of some friends, and one of them grabbed my camera off me, and then the rest of them jumped on me and they took a picture of me.
Right.
And I thought, that's never going to happen again.
Okay.
So that night I went home and I reprogrammed my camera. So
Okay.
you had to press certain buttons in order to take a picture.
Oh,
That's how much I don't like being on camera. So it was quite challenging.
Okay.
So to get this picture, I think there was some, we'll use the word encouragement because we don't use the word bullying.
okay. Right.
So I'll mention yourself and
Me?
Aurea. Yes, you. Yeah.
I'm innocent.
And there was a lot of strong encouragement
Okay.
to get me into the jacket, including Mr. Zeal. But you know, the jacket has warmed on me. You know, but yeah, it's been very different being in front of the camera, and it's helped me to understand how some people may feel being uncomfortable being in front of a camera. But it's been a good experience overall, and the fact that you've got me sitting down here on camera again, and having to do things like radio interviews, speaking to people, members of the public, walking them around when we've had the exhibition, and having conversations around, well, what was on your mind when you were capturing this image? How was it built up? So it's been a really good learning experience for me.
Can you give me one word, both of you, to describe how it feels to see yourself represented in this way, particularly in the spaces that people aren't typically in? Can I get one word from you to describe how that makes you feel?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How about
Powerful.
powerful?
It is powerful.
It
and
is.
just talking about Darren, look at him. He had such a cheeky,
Little
cute
face.
smile.
Only, yes. Okay.
Beautiful in that picture.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that I noticed when being in the space was the high energy, right? When we was doing photography, there was a lot of energy, there was a lot of love, there was cake, and wherever cake is, I'm there, because cake is life right now.
I buy people with foods.
Yeah. So I think, how was it kind of creating that space? Did it come easy for you guys? Was it a team effort? What was that about? Aurea, I'll start with you.
It was easy.
Okay.
In my eyes, I'm not sure about Darren because he's a photographer, his mind is different. But for me, it was easy because I will say in an I because when I was the one choosing the people because I was like, okay, he's already taken the picture. I was trying to save him giving too much work because he was already doing a lot. And I made sure to choose people that I knew will bring the same energy. People that I might not talk to them anymore as much as I talk maybe with you guys. Even with you, we became more closer now, although we always had that professional respect for each other. And so, I was bringing someone that was important to me as a friend and as a professional.
Okay.
At that time, I respected Darren even more as a professional, as a friend, because although we spoke a lot, I think we grow together now. Like a big bro now. We're always implicating with like our little fights, but it's all love. And so I was like, I'm not bringing anyone in this project to disrespect my friends.
Right.
Because for me, it was like he was doing a favor to me.
Yeah.
And we didn't had funds in the beginning. It was all out of love, passion, and just wanted to do something creative.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you that, like, what made you decide to choose the people that you chose? And I think, you know, you really touched on that point specifically. But, you know, a lot of these people, you know, personally, right? And so how did it feel to see these people develop over time and flourish over the months of this project?
It was magical because that was exactly what I wanted. I think there's a saying that say when you're doing things, not just for yourself, but to help yourself, but that it will benefit other people as well, everything will go right.
Right.
Even when things go wrong, and we had that, sometimes it's a redirection.
Okay.
So it was good to see that some people, they finally decide to open their business.
Love it.
They finally decide to go and write their book that they were scared to do it. They started to have more followers and decided to, okay, maybe now I need to be more active on IG. They decided to do whatever it was on the job, because they saw like, oh my God, she's doing that with Darren, and out of the nothing, and then it just became as big and big and big and big, and people got motivated and encouraged out of that. So for me, it was a big fulfilling. It was the best payment I had from all of this.
So Darren, I want to ask you, you know, as the photographer, right? One of the things that some people that you mentioned earlier, it's not comfortable taking a picture, and it's definitely not comfortable taking a picture in the type of setting that and context that we was in. So how do you build that trust and level of comfortability within the person that you're taking pictures of?
So from my branding work, one of the things I've realised that works consistently is getting people to talk about their passions, getting people to tell me their why.
Right.
So people were in the room, people were in the space, and I would say, okay, so what do you do? Tell me your story. And, you know, everyone starts off a bit clunky at first. And then I say, well, why is that important to you?
Right.
And as soon as you get into someone's why, everything changes.
Okay.
And they open up.
Yes.
And they just start to flourish, because now they're in passion mode.
Yes.
They've turned off the narrative that they normally spiel out when they meet people.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone's got that sort of narrative. But now they're into, this is why I really do it. This is what I care about. And it's just what I did. I just waited for the moment. And there's always a moment that I call the money shot. And I just know when it's there.
Okay.
And that's the high octane point. And I just bam, 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 get the picture.
Okay.
And just keep them talking. And that's what,
all right.
that's the outcome of what's around us.
Okay.
And can I just say, it's great at putting people at ease.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's everybody that came on the set said like, oh, it's so nice. And that's how you want to feel with your photographer.
Yeah. Was there a moment that stood out for either of you guys, or I'll pose it to both of you? You're welcome to answer. Was there a moment that stood out to you guys where you said, okay, this is why we do what we're doing. This is it.
I've got two.
Okay.
As a wedding photographer, one of the highlights for me is when I receive the wedding album, the printed wedding album, and I always have it delivered to my home so I can do a quality check before I send it on to the client.
Yeah.
And one of the most amazing parts is seeing your work printed and seeing what you've captured. So when Aurea picked up the prints from the printer, so I didn't see them until they were hung in the art gallery.
Oh.
And I walked in and I saw the images all hung up in a space where you don't normally see a lot of black faces.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting about the particular room that we were in is that most of the exhibits around the wall were people that were made their living from the slave trade. And so the contrast of seeing these 20-odd images in that space surrounded by images of other people who a few hundred years ago would have been the owners
of the slaves
was really powerful. And that was, for me, that was a huge moment. And the second moment was Birmingham Library. So we had set up, we spent a Friday afternoon there setting up the exhibition, and there was a moment when we finished and we stood back and the library was completely empty. And I said, our work is in the largest library in Europe. Can you believe it? And we had to, I think we pinched each other.
Yeah, because we had no word. We just look at each other and laughing like silly.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really two powerful moments. I think one of the things that stood out to me is, you know, this exhibition is really like a powerful statement, a welcoming table. Makes me feel like everyone's invited, no matter what odds are stacked against you. You can be celebrated in this space. You can be honored in this space. You can be treated with respect in this space, and you can be captured with all of this beautiful imagery, right? And so I want to say to you both, what advice, because there's going to be people that see what you have done and achieved together, and they're going to be like, oh my God, like that's amazing. what advice would you give to young people who are up and coming creatives, entrepreneurs, want to be leaders in their community? What advice would you give to them?
I'll go first. As I said in the beginning, you need to start with yourself. Because you can't expect people to jump in your boat when you want to do things. But your behavior, your attitudes toward work, to people, it's nasty. You know, so if you show some kind of level of respect, when you want to, or when people invite you to do some work or work ethic, that's very important. They will say, like, you know what, I've seen him. I've seen what they're doing. Let me give this kid a chance. You know what I mean? And when I say kid, girl, whatever. And then is the saying, hard work pays off. Sometimes I don't like that sentence, sometimes I do. Because here we did work hard. We cried. We had a few disappointments in the beginning before the exhibition came out. And I keep saying I cried for a day and a half because I like a good crying. It makes me think clear. And then after that, I was like, okay, the problem is here. Where's the solution? Things are not going to be easy. They're going to be very hard. But then it's like, for me, is what is actually your passion? What is the thing that you will do even if it's money, if you don't have money, that will make you tick?
Yeah. And
for me, creativity is something I didn't even know I was in the creative side of it. But since I wrote my book, so many doors and different hats, as you said, that I didn't even know that was in me. This was just something out of curiosity, what to do, like something for, like just to be busy in Black History Month, and then all of the sudden we created a good monster, let's say, if that's even possible. And so you need to start somewhere, but you need to portray yourself in a way that people actually can trust in jumping things with you, either if it's to sponsor you, to get funds, to get people on board with you. But you love what you're doing, and even if the money is not there, your passion is so big that people don't have any other options if not look and applaud you.
And Darren, I want to pose that question to you as well.
I'll say... unpack your God-given talents. Yeah, because we're all created with it, and that might be separate to what you're good at.
Yes.
Yeah, I see them as two different things.
Okay.
But when you combine them together, you've got something that's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And add character to that, add integrity to that, and pursue it. And you know, as you pursue, you may turn some corners and end up doing things that you didn't think were possible, which is what exactly happened with this project. You know, we're doing podcasts, that wasn't part of the plan. We've exhibited in different places, that wasn't part of the plan.
Right.
You know, there's a documentary that's being made, that wasn't part of the plan.
Absolutely.
We're going to do a book, that's not part of the plan. You know, there's so many things that have become uncovered just by having the passion to pursue, and pursuing with integrity, pursuing with character, being willing to fail and get things wrong and still not giving up, and getting around people that will hold you to account, in a really good way. That's what's made this project work. And being vulnerable to getting things wrong and being okay about it.
Okay. I love that. I think you guys are an amazing team, and we look forward to seeing more from you guys. I, for one, have had the honor of working with you, and I can honestly say you've influenced me and impacted me in more ways than you'll ever know. And I cannot wait to see how you continue to impact and influence the world moving forward. So there you have it, guys. This is the Black History Project, and I am Alicia's Journal. You have met the founders of the Black History Project specifically. If you would like to get in touch with them, all of the information will be down in the description box below. But until then, take care, be blessed, see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.